Guys, I hope you had a terrific Thanksgiving weekend. Debbie and I certainly did. This was a Thanksgiving with just the two of us. Danielle, my daughter, and Brandon were over at the in-laws, the ranch in Abilene. And then my stepson, Justin, and Juliana, my stepdaughter, were with their dad. So it was just Debbie and me, and we decided to kind of go wild. And by wild, I mean we decided to do the anti-Thanksgiving and eat Indian food. Now, this was not like an ideological statement against Thanksgiving. We're not against the Pilgrims or the Indians. Well, I'll put it differently. I guess now that I think about it, we had a philosophical motive, which was we thought about what would have happened if Columbus had gotten to his original destination, India. Probably Thanksgiving would have involved Indian food. So we were kind of trying to convey a historical, philosophical hint. Now, I can't say it really landed on anybody, at least until now. Probably no one even thought of it, including me. So, nevertheless, it was a really fun time. And, but we're back in the saddle and things are, a couple of things I wanted to highlight that I picked up just over the last couple of days. And I think putting them together is where I want to go with this. Two of the signature hallmarks of police states are propaganda and indoctrination. Now, what do we mean by propaganda? What we mean by propaganda is providing a distorted lens on things, a lens distorted by socialist ideology. Socialist ideology is almost like the refracting lens through which you see things. You omit things that are inconvenient to it, and you include things that may not even be true, but they nevertheless fit the ideology. This is the kind of almost working definition of propaganda. It is not entirely lies, because some of propaganda is true, but it's lies mixed with truth in such a way that the overall picture is false. Indoctrination is essentially the repetitive use of propaganda to sort of drive it into the minds of people, including, of course, young people through education. Well, I see the two things I want to highlight are, one, in New York, Debbie actually pointed this out to me, they have taken down the name of Thomas Jefferson. Was it a school or was it a monument or?
I think it was a museum.
A museum, yeah. And by the way, this is by itself telling, because when they started doing this to Confederate statues in the aftermath of George Floyd, there were people who warned, hey, listen, it's not going to stop here. Trump, in fact, warned. He said it's gonna lead to George Washington. It's going to lead to Thomas Jefferson, Madison, Hamilton. And the left was like, no, don't be ridiculous. We're talking here about the Confederacy. We're talking about traitors to America. Now, nevertheless, this is exactly the direction it's gone. And I think this is where the left always wanted it to go. For the left, it's generally you open a door, and then if you notice that no one is pushing back to shut the door, you go right through it, and then you kick in the next door. And so you have here a campaign which, if you allow it to continue, by the way, if we offer no resistance, you're going to basically find much of America's past erased. Now, again, they won't erase all of our past, but our past will basically be nothing more than a series of leftist incidents designed to overcome our past. And so, for example, a slave revolt is going to be emphasized. And, oh, yeah, there were union riots that occurred in, the 1920s. And the Great Depression illustrated the failure of capitalism. So you get this kind of twisted history of America in which the achievements of Americans are all downplayed. In fact, if you look at the history of America, it looks like all that white people did was visit crimes and atrocities on other people. And then you step back and go, wait, is this really true? I mean, let's think of all the great inventions that have made the modern world. How many of those were done by whites? Like, what's the proportion of white people that invented all the stuff that's made our lives better? Pause. Think about it. So my point is, this is the way in which ideology takes all the stuff that they don't want to talk about and puts it into the trash heap. At the same time, progressivism is not only trying to alter the past, they are also trying to alter the present. And how do they do this? Censorship. So I see from Jonathan Turley and others that the Biden regime is now working with social media companies in order to regulate the way that they control dissemination of information on the economy. So, for example, there are people who say things like, when Biden says, I've brought inflation down dramatically, and people go, that's not really true. The Biden people are essentially fighting with the social media companies and saying, look, you got to use our data. You got to use our spin. And anybody who takes a rival point of view should be banned, should be restricted, should be shadow banned, should be deplatformed. So think of this. We're not just talking here about so-called, taboo topics like election fraud. We're now talking about legitimate debates about the economy, and they're trying to shut one side down by saying, our view is the truth, and since you're ideologically aligned with us, if we can get you to agree that it's the truth, then basically you and we can shut down everybody who says something else by saying, that's false, that's misinformation, that's disinformation. So this is straight out of Orwell. Orwell recognized that ultimately, socialism and progressivism oppose the past and the present in the name of the future. Remember, the future is something that doesn't exist, but the left hopes to control the future by, Obama used the phrase remaking society, remaking America. And in order to remake something, the America that has existed, the America that exists now, has to go. Here's a good idea. Diversify your savings with physical precious metals while stockpiling silver in your home safe. It's Birch Gold Group's most popular special of the year. Now through December 22nd, for every $5,000 you spend with Birch Gold, they'll send you a 1-ounce silver eagle coin for free. Text Dinesh to 989898 to claim your eligibility now. You can purchase gold and silver and have it shipped directly to your home, or have Birch Gold's precious metals specialists help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold for no money out of pocket. And they'll send you free silver for every $5,000 you purchase. Keep it for yourself, or give something with real value as a stocking stuffer this year. Just text the keyword Dinesh to 989898 to claim your eligibility. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, thousands of happy customers, including me, now's the best time to buy gold from Birch Gold. Text Dinesh to 989898. Claim your eligibility for free silver on qualifying purchases before December 22nd.